Hey Ranger Nation, so today we're going to be doing an anime review of the Ancient Magus Bride Part 1 from Manga Entertainment, and I've got to admit this is one of the nicest animes, as one of the most beautifully drawn animes that I have seen in a long time. I was very happy that I was given a chance to review this. So before we begin this review, if you want to hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, as well as the cheeky notification bell, you'll be notified when more videos drop. I'm going to be doing this slightly different than I would do my normal reviews. So let's begin. My kind of thoughts on this is this anime, as I've mentioned, was a beautiful anime. It looked like it had been taken care of. They took their time on it. When I first saw this manga, I generally didn't think it'd be something that I would really enjoy. I thought it was going to be kind of a meh one, but I'm so glad that I actually took the plunge to actually watch this. I thought it'd be kind of boring all the way through, but it held my attention. It made me want to continue watching. And by the time it got halfway through to where they were saying, oh, it's done with, and you've got to wait for the next one, I generally really wanted to know more. And also, the sun keeps coming out, so I'm sorry if it changes color all the way through. The anime starts off with Chisei, and it was very weird to me because it was a slave auction, and I was just like, oh, this got very dark really quickly. And she's been told that, to kind of like, someone's going to buy it, blah, 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 and all that sort of thing. The other main character in this is Elias, and I generally didn't know what he was when I've seen the photos. I generally thought maybe he was a demon, maybe he was something else. But you see what he is much later on in the anime. Dear God, like when he transforms later on, oh my God, was it completely different. And obviously when he sees Chisei in the form of his snake form, I was like, oh my God, that is something different that I didn't expect, but also really, really cool. All the way through this anime with Chisei, you are told that her mother wanted to kill her. You see it very briefly that she tries to choke her and therefore trying to get rid of her. And this is kind of a very big step that you see all the way through the anime. Mainly it's either the drive for Chisei to say, hey, like, I need to change, I need to be better, or I need to kind of learn from this. But it doesn't pop up all the time, where mostly in some animes with something like this, it would always do it. At the very beginning, for me, when I was watching this, I thought that Chisei was going to be a normal human. There was nothing special about her. But as this kind of anime progresses, you see that she has magic power, and it's ridiculously strong. Even Elias, he says it at times that he didn't expect that, or if he did see it, he wants to kind of train her to be, to use her power to become stronger, and also how to control it normally. Mainly you see this in one of the fights at the graveyard where she is teaching someone a lesson, but she gets really angry and summons this power from nowhere. You see it later on at the very end where the anime kind of breaks, where she gets her wand and she is able to turn into a phoenix, and I was like, holy crap, that's amazing. That was possibly one of my favorite scenes, which I'm going to say again much later on in this review. So Elias buys her, and obviously he starts training her. There are certain times when people have a go at him for it as well. It's like you can't buy people like that. So there's little things like that which I generally thought was interesting, because even though he seems quite powerful and is quite powerful, people weren't afraid to kind of tell him that he was an idiot. I love seeing animes based in England, mainly because it's a nice way to see how Japan sees us. The last time I saw something like this was from Kinazawa, and how they portrayed the English, broken English, etc, etc. But I really liked the fact that the Magus Bride was able to show stuff from England. So later on, when Chisei goes shopping, because Eliza has basically let out his power, and it's taken a while for him to kind of like transform back. You get to see Chisei go all around like the small towns. She's got money as well, and that was basically the British pound, which again was fantastic to see, as well as the transportation for the bus. It may not be a big thing, but for me that made the anime even more special, because England is known for its magical properties as well as its magical heritage. Even if you took the magical properties out of this, it really kind of added in that they took their time to learn about the English countryside, as well as all the little things, either from the money, as I said, to buses, to towns. These are the things that made this anime spectacular. This anime isn't something that blasts like magic like you'd see in some other animes. This mainly showed little lessons. Chisei at the very beginning, she gets kind of like she wanders outside the house because fairies are asking her to go and play, spend time with them. And even when you see Elias go, I'm going to like follow, but I'm not going to do anything to kind of intervene because Chise has to learn. And normally you may get this like a little bit later, but this was bang in the middle. So when obviously Chise goes with the fairies, they're giving a sweet talk saying, yes, this is amazing. And then obviously they turn around and say, we're only here to sacrifice you so we can actually get back at the old mage because we want one up on him. And I was like, damn, because that is pretty much true. Later on, we're introduced to the Dragon Valley, and we see Chise and Elias go off to see the dragons. And again, like it talks about like how death happens for dragons, as well as like their version where, you know, Chise actually makes friends with one of the elder dragons who's about to pass. And it's the way that he goes like, my last wish is for this. My last wish is to see how to fly, how to be free. And he shares that with Chise. And I was like, oh my god, this is so deep on so many levels. You know, and we've only just scratched the surface on how far we can go with it. Chise learns a lot more about dragons and how they are and how they don't fear death and how they kind of like want to celebrate life. One thing I did like, which they did pick up much later on, is when the elder dragon turns around and says like, can you come back when you're ready to take one of my branches, a part of me, to make your wand? That is what I want. And Chise says yes. And they pay it off very much later on, which I didn't think would happen for such a long time. This to me made this whole anime more kind of interesting and made me want to follow it even more, to the point now where I really want to read the manga. Even though there are some amazing moments in the anime, there are moments there that made me go, what the fuck am I watching? There's a whole segment to maybe 2 episodes where a guy has been tricked into killing cats so that he can get the magical power from them to give to his wife because his wife is dying. And you know, the way that this is told is all the way through is there's a guy that just killed cats, there's this, until you see possibly, I think maybe the first major bad guy that turns around and manipulates someone many, many years ago to actually try and save his wife by saying, if you do this, this will work. And, you know, every single cat hates this area that they go for, but you see what happens story-wise. And again, it's a major plot point for Chise to actually learn healing or to seal a spell, and she has to learn and see through the eyes of what happens. And the main bad guy, as I mentioned, is an alchemist who kind of really wants to trick people, who just wants to see chaos, but then is that sort of person you want to smack in the face so much, because it's more like, I'm not even going to do the impression, but it's the sort of character that turns around and is like really nice and that's really smooth, but it's like, oh, I'm going to make sure that I kill you, is that okay? And you want to, oh god, I'm getting angry thinking about it. But it's that sort of thing where when you try and argue with this, he's like, but I said that the chaos is there. What is going to happen? And you just want to go, what the hell? This character again pops up later on when you find out that there is I think it's a chimera or something, or basically an animal that is going around and killing people. You meet Chise's familiar, which is a dog, or a guy who can turn into a dog can turn into a guy. And he's still protecting the one that he loves, which is called Isabel. I think it's Isabel. And this dog is protecting its past owner. And you see backstory of that. You know, even the dog, he basically will protect Chise as well. But he gets hurt. So again, with all the backstory, it's so complex, but it's told in a way that you can really understand it. So literally, to mess with that dog's mind, or the human's mind, is that this alchemist resurrects its dead owner, but turns it into this horrible monster just to be like, oh, well, I just want to see what the chaos is and what you're going to do. And oh my god, this is when Chise goes like absolutely crazy later on. It's just something that I would be more like, huh, okay. With all that said, the animation for this is absolutely stunning. As I've mentioned, the countryside to the places where it's going to be are absolutely stunning. As I mentioned previously in this review, is my favorite moment is when Chise turns into a phoenix. She's got a wand, she wants to go back to the person that she loves, which is Eliza, which you can see. But what happens is she then turns into a phoenix and she flies. That animation, the way that she looks is absolutely spot on. I think it's one of the best in this entire anime. I can't wait to see what happens. I think that at the very end of this, the end of disc 2 is a great way to kind of jump into the next part, because it says this is a new beginning for both of the characters, and I generally thought that was spot on. That was perfect in my eyes. The music as well really drew me in. It was perfect for this sort of anime. It wasn't kind of in your face, it was subtle. Even when you look at the DVD menu or the Blu-ray menu, the music that plays is perfect. It suits it so well. And again, I like the subtleness. It just wasn't in your face like, oh my god, what's gonna happen? So yeah, the music for this was spot on as well. The characters in this, again, all of them, like every single one, had their unique role in this to play. I never found any of them boring. I never thought, oh god, when's this character gonna end? Where am I gonna go? What the hell's going on? I loved this. I've never really said this about animes when I see characters, that everyone was well balanced to me. I love the fact that Eliza loved Chisei, that, you know, he'd be willing to protect her no matter what. And you see this like very early on where she gets shot at the kind of like the graveyard and he just loses control. And that I liked, because I generally like the fact that over a short amount of time, he's formed that sort of feelings for her, and, you know, he's willing to protect her at any risk. And you see it much later on as well. When Chisei goes off to the Dragon Village to get her wand, you know, he's around the whole place going, on board. You know, this place doesn't feel lively. And you can see the connection between them, because when one of the mages starts singing to kind of bring people together to enjoy like life as well and all that, you know, Chisei creates water mirror and is able to talk to him. And oh my god, there's just so many things that I want to talk about, but I don't want to spoil it, well, apart from the main plot points that I want you guys to experience, so you can be like, I really like this. There's so much stuff, and I absolutely adore this anime so much. With Elias, I generally thought he was going to be a hothead. He was going to be the main thing, where he would rush in, he would attack people at times. He's just so kind of like a gentleman, which I generally liked. I just found his entire character ridiculously interesting. If you want an anime that is full of in-depth story, stuff that you can just generally enjoy and keep watching over and over again, then this is the anime for you. This is something that I would highly recommend more than anything, and I can't wait for the next part to come out, because I want to continue this story. I want to be able to be captivated, to love it, to experience it for the very first time, and actually really enjoy it. So Ranger Nation, I am going to leave it there. What are your thoughts on this anime? Have you seen it? Have you not? Would you like more of it? Does it continue on for a lot longer? What are your thoughts? Let me know down below in the comments. So if you enjoyed this video, then why not hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, as well as the cheeky notification bell to be notified when more videos drop. And as always, Ranger Nation, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in a bit.